Hey everybody, welcome to the SERVE Brew. It's Tori Townley. Hope y'all are having a great day, whatever you're doing. Thank you so much for tuning in. You're going to have a blast listening to this week's episode. I have the all-stars of outreach. Like I text Pastor Dino Rizzo all the time, say these guys are the all-stars. They're doing such a great job. They're inspiring me. You're going to have a real treat today. You're going to be hyped up and they're just awesome. So welcome, not Pastor. I did it. Oh my gosh. Anthony
It
and
happened.
Michelle Miner. I told you it was a habit. Hey.
What's up? How are you?
Hi. Hi. Oh my gosh. Hope City Outreach Directors, Anthony and Michelle Miner. Not pastors, my bad. That's so funny. How are y'all doing?
We're doing good.
Couldn't be better. Living a dream.
Anytime Anthony gets called pastor, we just chuckle about it. We're like, no.
Nope. Just a guy that loves to serve.
Yeah.
Who's trying to make a difference.
For sure.
So humble. I love it. Yeah. So listeners, like really 20 seconds before we hit record or less, he was like, I'm not a pastor. Don't call me pastor. Like, okay, Pastor Anthony, what's up? Anyway, okay. One of the people, you're so humble. All right. Welcome. So for you guys who don't know, Hope City Church is located in Houston, Texas. They have global representation. Amazing. Pastor Jeremy Foster, just big game players in the world of serving and outreach. We love them so much. So it's a treat to have you guys today. First, everybody knows our icebreaker question is, what is your coffee of choice? Starbucks order, what you getting?
So I'm very bougie. So I would say not a Starbucks order because I actually got Starbucks today and I threw it away because it was literally just milk. But if I could choose anything, it would be a Vietnamese coffee. Best, hands down. Sweetened condensed milk, super strong coffee. We love. Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
So
that's a good one.
I'm not as bougie. When I go to Starbucks, it's either just a straight espresso, no cream, no sugar, just espresso, or I get a green tea. And it's not because I'm so healthy. It's because I drink so much Bang and Red Bull and things of that nature that people at the office worry about me. So if I come into the office, I try to have like Starbucks green tea, and then like I'll whip up the Bang or the Red Bull like
later.
Yeah, later when nobody's looking.
Oh my gosh, you don't need extra hype though. That's the thing. So naturally energetic. Wow.
No, but here's the problem. It's just the truth. When you drink it like every day, you just get used to drinking it. And so
yeah,
I just think it's the sound of just the Bang opening up just gives me energy.
It's horrible.
I normally start my days around 5 a.m., 4:35 a.m. I'm generally on my first energy drink by 5:15. Yeah. Pretty early in the day. And yeah, that's how I get my day started. I pray, then I drink my Bang.
I love it. Praying in a Bang. That's great. That's funny.
That should be the Hope City Missions. That should be the Hope City Missions slogan.
No.
Prayer and Bang.
No.
I like it. We pray prayer and Bang.
Oh gosh, we pray and we drink.
Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, Tori, you're going to have to come to Houston because our church really does love Bang energy drinks.
Yeah, they do.
Like, because we have all these mobile campuses, and so we set up and we tear down every week. We just had our first brick and mortar campus up in the Woodlands. But our broadcast campus, everything you see on camera is set up and taken down every weekend. And so you walk into our auditoriums before the load in and you see coolers of Bang sprinkled throughout the auditoriums. Or Red Bull or
Monster.
This is not the SERVE Brew this week. It's the SERVE Bang.
Yeah,
SERVE energy drink. Yeah,
Hope City is a Bang and Red Bull church.
You're so great. I love that. Wow. Okay, so now we know your coffee or hype drink, whatever that is. Tell us just a little bit about you guys, a little bit of your testimony and how you got to be where you're at now. Obviously, you're married, so that's cool.
We are married.
We are married.
I'm still trying to figure out how we got here. Okay, so I'll tell you the story how we ended up at Hope City. We were going to another church in Houston, and I enjoyed it because it was a really big church, and I liked it because I could just kind of go in and go out and go about my day on Sundays.
But your background,
My background, I grew up in church,
church.
in Pentecostal church, and so I'm used to like church for 12 hours on a Sunday. And so when I was an adult, I was like, there's no way in the world I'm going to go to church all day on the weekend. And so I was going to this church and I loved it. And one morning she wakes up and she's like, we're going to a different church. I was like, a different church? Why in the world would we do that? She's like, we're going to a church. I was like, okay. So I didn't believe her. So we get in the car and she's driving the different route from where we were going. I was like, hey, wait a minute. Like, why are we driving down I-10? Where are we going?
I was like, no, I'm serious. We're going to a different church. And he was not happy.
So we pull up to a high school. And I'm like, why in the world are we at a high school? And I see these kids in like shorts and they're drinking coffee. And I was like, what?
High fives.
They're high-fiving. I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
It was dark in the room. But then once Pastor Jeremy gave the benediction, I realized the service was only like an hour and 5 minutes. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I tweeted him and said, hey, great, cool service. Now I can go watch the Rockets.
Yes.
And he responded and was like, hey, go Rockets.
Go Rockets.
So I was like, that's kind of weird, but whatever. So the following week, we showed up and he was at the front door greeting everybody.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, it's my Twitter homie. I was like, it's kind of weird, but okay. And so we went to service, and then the following week, he would like legit come find us every week in the auditorium, week after week after week. And it really kind of grew on me over that first couple of weeks. And when we got in the Connect group, that's kind of when it became our home church. We've been here for a long time now.
So I think really the overlying theme of like our whole Hope City story is connection and relationship, because the whole reason that we came to Hope City is because I worked at Chase Bank, and I had a friend that I worked with at Chase Bank, but she was singing at Hope City. So she shared with me, hey, you should come see me sing. Like, I'll save you a seat. We can sit together, blah, blah, blah. I meet her, and it was so like, Anthony did not want to go. He was in a grumpy mood. So she greets us at the door because she was also a greeter. So a lot of times our anybody that's on stage are also like coming out and greeting, kind of having that personal touch with people that are coming in. So she greeted us, and I was like, oh my gosh, Sade. I gave her a big hug, and she went to high five Anthony, and he just was like, nope, and dipped her. And I was like, oh,
you know what?
My goodness.
Actually, I just thought about it. The first time I met Pastor Jeremy, he went for a hug, and I was like, and kind of just like,
he's like, I'm not used to all this. I didn't know what's happening. So there was a connection there, which is why we came to Hope City. But then there was a long-lasting connection because Pastor Jeremy knew, like, okay, this guy obviously is not for it. Like, he does not want to be here. He could tell. Anthony couldn't hide it. So we just kept finding him and kept talking to him, and kept reaching out. And that's why we stayed. Like, that's why we're still here, because we had that one person come, and then we had another person come, and that's kind of like the culture. You just keep reaching out to people and keep touching with them. So
he says it, and it's very true. We would much rather be overbearing in our approach as far as love and energy and asking you to come in than the opposite. You be somebody who really needs that personal touch, and nobody talks to you.
Yeah.
So there really isn't a loss in going over the top with the high fives, with the greetings, with the, hey, I'm happy to see you. So even people who don't necessarily want to come, over time, they realize that, whoa, this energy and this love really is authentic. I think the thing was, I was like, how in the world can these people be this happy at 8 a.m. in the morning every week? What is going on here? But it really is genuine and it's true. And people who come here really do experience the love of Jesus. And the members here really are as happy as they look. Not all the time, obviously, but on the weekends when they come to Hope City, it's like, whoa, I'm home. I could put everything to the side that's happened this week and have an encounter with Jesus today.
I love that so much. That's amazing. Yeah. People remember when they feel seen or noticed or wanted. Even if, like you said, you didn't want to be there, you didn't want to be noticed, but you deep down you did. And I love that that is the culture of the church and that carries over into what you guys do outreach. And then it just like is this bit, it's part of your entire culture. It permeates inside the four walls of the church and outside. So I want to transition here into the outreach you guys do. I know y'all have a radical story of how you got to be in this role for outreach, but like tell us how you got there and then what is it all about? What is your vision? What do you guys do? I know that's a big question, but
So this is not a paid infomercial for Servolution. This is a 100% true story.
oh my
Um,
gosh.
After I guess 4 years at being Hope City, I think that it just kind of got very routine to me. Pastor Levi Lusko came here and said something that was really amazing. He said the people who live in Wyoming that see Old Faithful all the time, they take it for granted because they see it all the time.
Yeah.
I think sometimes being this close to Hope City, you lose sight of how amazing it is and what God is really doing here. And the fact that we have millennials standing in line outside in the hot sun 30 minutes before service starts just to get in. Like that's not normal,
Yeah.
but we see it every week. So I personally took it for granted. So I kind of decided I'm going to more so pursue my career. I'm going to travel the world more. I'm going to enjoy life. So I kind of stopped serving in church for about a year.
All the while I work here. So pause for a second. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but just as a backstory, I have worked at Hope City for now 4 years. So at this point, I'm on like year 2.5. Anthony's volunteering, but like a high level volunteer. And he's like, oh, by the way, yeah, I'm not coming to church anymore. I'm tired of it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know it wasn't that I was tired of it. It was just I wanted to go watch the Texans on Sunday morning, and
Yeah.
I wanted to go to Paris, and I had things I wanted to do. So yeah, but I was a high level volunteer that just kind of went into the abyss for a year.
Wait, what was Michelle's role at this point?
Oh, that's a great question because I've had a lot of roles.
Okay.
I think at this point I was probably with
You were with Pastor Roland, obviously.
I think I was our ops PM at this point.
Okay.
So our ops project manager. So kind of everything ops had my hand in.
Yeah.
You're pretty integrated into every area of this church. Okay,
Yes,
cool.
definitely.
Just getting an idea. All right.
I'll never forget it was a morning in July. I text Pastor Roland, who's our chief of staff, the one that said he loved you last week, and he barged on our call. I texted him one Saturday morning and said, hey man, I kind of miss leading and serving in church. And he responded to me, missions. And I was like, missions? That's kind of odd. Like, that's not really my thing. I'm more operations minded, more so on the business side of things, load in, load out. And so I didn't think anything of it. So I guess that was in July of 2019.
Yeah.
Fast forward to February of 2020, Michelle and I went to Barbados, but for vacation.
Yeah.
But somebody gave me a book called Servolution. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to be on the beach. I'm going to be relaxing. Let me see what this book is about that I was given 8 months ago. And I'll never forget when I started reading it, it was like something on me lit on fire. I even remember like putting on Instagram, hey, this book is amazing. When I get back from Barbados, I'm going to start serving people with my Connect group. I'm going to start doing outreaches. I'm going to start doing all these small wins that I saw in the book.
Yeah.
Because I'm much more of a outside in type of guy. What happens at church is amazing, but what excites me a lot more is the life change that happens outside the four walls. So the book really resonated with me. We get back from Barbados like the first week of March 2020. And obviously, you know what happened early March 2020. So I'll never forget it. We were out to eat on one night. It's like a Wednesday night. And Pastor Roland, our chief of staff, texts and says, we're not having church on Sunday. I'm like, there's no way we're not going to have church. Like, how? Like, how is that possible? Pastor Jeremy's not going to not have church. We're going to do it one way or another. But it ended up happening. We didn't have church. So what we did was we had these watch parties, and we had a watch party at a coffee shop, and it was pretty cool. We had like 50 people there, so we didn't know we was super spreading at that point.
Yeah.
And
no, we were not.
and so it's around 50 people there. And after the watch party, myself, Pastor Roland, Michelle, and Caesar, who's our financial controller, we went out and took food and water to the elderly people in our church. I'll never forget it. Pastor Roland praying people house to house really showed me that ministry is something that happens anywhere. It could be inside somebody's home on a Sunday morning. And then the following week, we kept doing things of that nature. So taking food and water to the police, taking food and water to the firefighters, delivering food to anybody who needed it in Houston. We partnered with a local organization that takes food to people who are in vulnerable situations. And it really did have a true servolution feel to it. Sure. And it really snowballed to where last year, I think we had something like 10,000 serving hours and 2 million meals. And we honestly had more projects than days between March and the end of the year. Yeah. And it hasn't slowed down. And it really is the fabric of our church, like truly is outreach. Yeah. I really do believe that Pastor Jeremy cares about missions as much as anything else in our church. And for us, it makes it easy to move the needle missionally, because we know the answer is not going to be no to serving and loving people.
Yeah.
Wow. This story is crazy. When you first told me this, I was like, what the world? You're literally on the beach reading a book and your whole life is turned upside down. And then I just love, there's so much that I love, but I really love the part where it's like you were feeling a little stale in the inside church bubble world, but it was like someone called out of you, like, but that's part of your design. Like you were meant to feel for the outside. You were meant to have or you're orientated towards the people who are on the margins, and that's like an asset to God's kingdom. It's not that something's wrong with you, it's this is how you're supposed to be. And I feel like a lot of that story resonates with our audience today, our listeners, because we are those people who are like, oh, but we are always thinking about who's outside, who's not here. We're not satisfied with what's going on just on a Sunday, but like what is represented out in the world. And so for you to be able to be that bridge, that's amazing. I think that really is going to resonate with a lot of our people. And then COVID, y'all were anointed for that time. That's amazing to me. We've seen so much beauty come out of, it's been a horrible, hard season, but the opportunities for hope have been just insane, like what God's doing and the glory that he's getting out of it. So I love that that's like God just dropped y'all in the middle of it and like, figure it out, there you go, have fun. What have you seen? I know we're kind of surging again, unfortunately, but like what have you guys seen take shape since the initial COVID hit? Like opportunities grew, you got like a lot of action. What's come to fruition from that season? Maybe programs that have been in place or more opportunities that have been solidified. What have been some wins from that?
Man, I think just seeing how many people really want to serve, and how many organizations that are out there that are really looking for volunteers. Like our biggest asset is going to be the way we mobilize, because we mobilize really quickly and we have a lot of volunteers. So I really think that like it's just, and the more you do, the more your like organization is out there. So the more people are like, oh yeah, that Hope City, well, we did something with them before, so we can trust them. Let's work with them. So I think it's just opened a ton of opportunities.
Can I interject? Sorry. That was a good highlight that you said, is you mobilize so quickly. What enables you to do that? Like, what's your secret sauce to be able to do that? Because you are a big church.
There's two answers to that.
Okay.
Well, a few answers. One, PJ. Honestly, Pastor Jeremy.
Oh, yeah.
Because and this is just the truth. He loves, can I say it?
No,
He
I don't know.
he doesn't mind disaster. I don't want to say he loves disaster,
Oh,
but
No,
he doesn't love disaster.
He loves
But
the opportunity to be able to jump in and help.
so his mind and his brain is very, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to get out there, we need to serve, we need to rally the troops. So when the senior pastor is saying to the whole church, let's mobilize, let's get out there and let's serve,
yeah.
then they start looking for opportunities. We have no shortage of opportunities because we're the fourth largest city in America, and we have the largest food bank in America, and we have so many partnerships right here in Houston, Texas, to where it's easy for us to find places to serve. Yeah. So that's one way. We really use social media very strongly. Yeah. We post every day. We kind of stay in people's faces. We stay in people's feeds. We are very intentional about showing what's happening in that moment. And so, because as you know, social media becomes people's reality for good or for bad. So for us, if we can create something on social media that makes you say, man, I want to be part of that. I want to go to that volunteer opportunity. I want to go to that survey event. I want to go do this. Why? Because they're having fun. They're from all different, making a positive impact, and they're in community. I think COVID showed people how much community meant to them and how necessary it is in our lives. And so in a time where everything shuts down, missions was the only show in town. We were the only ones. You couldn't go serve on the weekend like you normally serve. So we wanted to provide that avenue on a Sunday morning where you watch the service and then you come to Houston Food Bank and serve with your friends and serve with your community and make a positive impact. So I think for me, that was probably the biggest eye opener.
I love how, like, when I ask a very advanced church or seasoned church for their secret tips, like you would expect something that whatever is high, or I don't know, is so attainable. What you just said, those steps are so reasonable. Any church of any size can take the things that you said and make that happen. So how do we get momentum of a Hope City? It's as simple as organic social media. The pastor and the leadership are excited. There's hype and we're celebrating wins and honoring people. Like, it's that simple to get that kind of momentum. I love that that's your answer. And I think that really is going to encourage a lot of people. We can do this. That's awesome.
If you think about it, on Serve Day, when I sent you the video that morning saying, hey, we're praying for you, it's going to be a great day, we were riding around serving with our chief of staff, who you have Pastor Jeremy and then you have Pastor Roland. Yeah. And he is always serving with us. And it's so organic in the sense that I just texted him last week and said, hey, September 11th is on a Saturday morning. Do you want to go do this with me? And the answer is yes. And it's an easy yes. It's not like I need to rearrange my schedule or so it's a priority. It's a priority. Mm-hmm. So when our staff sees that and our volunteer sees that and our church sees that at the food distribution we have post-freeze, Pastor Jeremy and his 17 kids are out there serving like everybody else and praying for people like everybody else. It sets a really strong tone to everybody that, hey, this is a priority to our church. You guys
have a culture of yes. What is that? What is that saying that you guys have? I love it.
Your yes changes lives.
Your yes changes lives. That is so cool and so true. Like, you never know what kind of an adventure a yes is going to lead you to, but it is everything. It's so cool. I love that that is everybody on the team lives by that.
Yeah, we were trying to kind of think about how do we want to promote Serve Day? What do we want the overriding theme to be? And I think so often we focus on what does serving do for the person you're serving. So if I go out and serve, what is it that I'm doing to impact them? Where ultimately, when Jesus recruited the disciples, he said, follow me, I will make you. And so I look at that in the sense of you're serving on missions, you serving in the kingdom, whatever your yes is, that will impact you just as much as it's going to impact somebody else And your yes to God will open up something to you that you never thought would happen.
Yeah.
Our yes has opened up doors that I never even considered. And so once you say yes, that yes not only changes the life of the person you're serving, but it changes your life, it changes your family life, it changes your co-workers' life, it changes everything around you.
Yeah, that's awesome. It works in all directions. That's so cool. I want to know, we haven't jumped into like the specifics of what you guys do as far as hours. Like you guys both send ideas like crazy, like, hey, today we're doing this and today we're doing that and tomorrow this. Can you just give us like a blast of some of the specific ways you guys are serving right now? Like spitfire.
But here's the funny part, and I'm gonna let Michelle give like better answers. We want to inspire and empower. So truthfully, half the time, I don't even know what's happening. And this is just the truth. I get surprised on Instagram the same way you get surprised on Instagram. I'll see somebody tag us in the project and I'll say, hey,
amazing.
Did you know this is happening? She'll say, nope. But we want to
That's the kind
empower
of culture
people.
we built. Wow.
We have Anthony's looking at me like,
I want to know. I don't know the answer to this.
No, I do think it's literally like equip and empower, because we have I can't even think the word. Hello. Missions coordinators that are volunteers, obviously, that are over like the regions where our campuses are. But we are very intentional about who we put in those roles. We trust those people completely. So kind of like our mantra is it serving God? Like, are you loving God? Are you loving people? Then let's do it. It's not, we don't have a huge process. There's not like a big pile of red tape that people have to go through. It's literally like, okay, see a need, meet a need. Let's go. Does it serve God? Does it serve people? Then if it does, then let's do it. I don't see a problem with it, you know? So things that we've been doing, oh my gosh, we go to the Houston Food Bank all the time. We are about to do some September 11th stuff, so we're ramping up towards that to try to make it not a day of
sorrow,
sadness, but a day of remembrance and a day that helps us push forward, kind of deal. And obviously still honoring people, but honoring them in a positive way.
The cops thing with the gang. This Thursday, we're packing hundreds of backpacks for kids in the city of Houston that are in gangs.
Yeah.
And so
kind of trying to bridge that partnership between police and gang violence. So we're working with them and to go serve those communities that aren't normally served very often.
Houston's one of the leading cities in America for refugees. So we're having welcoming parties for refugees. We're helping furnish apartments. And everything we do, and this is very intentional, we really do try to include the whole church. So could we buy the stuff for the refugees as a church? Absolutely. We can go out and Amazon wish list and we can buy it and we can have it shipped to their house. But we do a lot of drives at our church. And I actually got this from the book, from the SERVE book. So the reason why we do that is to make everybody feel like they're part of what we're doing. So for SERVE Day, if we do sanitation kits and we do mucking kits, instead of us just going to the local store and buying all the stuff, let's do something to make people feel like they're part of what it is that we're doing. To where every single person, if you're 100 years old and you can't get out and serve, I can buy a broom and bring it to church on the weekend. So now I feel like, wow, I'm part of that mucking kit that's being sent to the disaster another place. And so it really is trying to make sure that we create something that every single person can be part of. So like on SERVE Day, we had kids painting rocks for people who have family members that perished. We had a blood drive. So it's about making things, the cookie drives that we do for the prisoners. Mm-hmm. So say you don't want to come outside and serve. I can bake cookies in my own house and somebody from Hope City will pick them up and take them to the prison. Mm-hmm. And so it's really just trying to create something that everybody feels like they can be part of.
Yeah. This is crazy. I've had like, you guys just gave like so many fresh ideas and just that one little spiel. That's amazing. How how do you cultivate? So I know you said it's super organic and you have a leader at each campus that helps kind of foster all of this, but how do people in your church know, hey, I have an idea. What do I do with it? How do you get those conversations started? How did that culture maybe come to be of just, you have a creative idea, we found a need, let's do something about it. There's not a big system. I love that it's not this huge to do. It's just let's do it. But practically speaking, like where do these ideas come to life? Where do you harvest all that?
I think
Connect
that
groups.
connect groups
Yeah.
really is the answer.
Yeah.
My goal, if you say, hey, Anthony, what do you want for Hope City Missions? My goal is to have every single person in our church serve once a year, just once a year, every single person. An attainable way to do this is through connect groups, but you have to get everybody in connect groups. And so if I have a need and I have a need at my house, a good way to help meet that need is through the connect group. If I'm in a group of 15 people, then that 15 people in that group, in that community, can meet that need and simply throw it on the Serve Day app. And if they need help financially or need help to make it happen, they reach out to us and say, hey, here's a need in our church.
Yeah.
Can we meet that need?
Yeah. So I think there's the organic side of it, but we do have systems and processes and stuff in place, which is where Tracy comes in. We love Tracy. God bless you, Tracy. Because she, like, for instance, if we have a project that involves children or a project that does need a little more oversight, obviously we have background checks. We have those kind of systems and stuff in place. But I think for the most part, we really focus, our focus is working with and pouring into and building relationships with those coordinators so that they can continue to duplicate that. Because we can't have a relationship with every single person on the missions team. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
But I can have a relationship with 5 coordinators and make sure that they're good. And then they can have a relationship with their 5 people. And, you know, it just continues to grow, which is why I think we're pushing so hard for connect groups and kind of working with our connect groups director to make sure, like, hey, this is definitely a next step for everyone and anybody can do it.
And having strong relationships with partners in the area. And so lots of times our projects on the Serve Day app are not made by Hope City members. They're made by vetted and trusted community partners who knows that there's this machine of volunteers out there that can make this project become a reality. Case in point, just a few weeks ago, the back to school distribution we had with HPD, I actually personally forgot that was happening. The sheriff, the sheriff reached out and said, hey, last year you guys did this and it was a huge success because you guys came and helped us out. Can you help us out again this year? And of course, the answer is yes. And so I got somebody to throw it on the Serve Day app and volunteers signed up and showed up for it. So lots of times it's our partners and organizations in Houston that knows that we have this strong volunteer base that puts projects on the Serve app, and people are in such a routine of looking at it because we're telling you every single day on Instagram, check the Serve Day app for projects this weekend. And we're kind of giving snapshots of what's happening while it's happening and a follow-up a few days later. And so if I go to a project, I want to see pictures from that project. I want to post pictures from that project. I want to share pictures from that project. So I have just told my whole network about this Hope City Missions to people who may have never heard of Hope City. And so it's really, there's a guy named Rob David who runs all our social media. He literally is a genius.
Love Rob. That's awesome.
He says this is a marketer's dream because you're having exposure and you're having eyes put on this in an organic way to a different audience. So say if I'm an African-American male, the eyes on my page are going to naturally be different than the eyes on your page. So if I go and serve in a community that's 80% African American with the HBD, then the people that follow me on Instagram have seen Hope City missions in this community. If I'm Hispanic and the people who follow my page are Hispanic and they see me in the Hispanic community under Hope City missions serving this community, then the people who might not follow Hope City missions, who don't follow Anthony Minor, who might not follow Pastor Jeremy, has seen Hope City missions in a community that resonates with them serving. And so we really push everybody who serves to share it online, share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram, because you're getting eyes on it to bring people to Jesus that may not be there through the Hope City missions channels.
Yeah.
Wow, that's brilliant. That is such a brilliant thing. And again, it's such a simple thing, but it makes such a big difference. And it's crazy to think about it that way. And that's what I also have noticed about you guys is like you're hype on social media for sure, but also just like the wording and the way that you guys portray people is so full of honor. Like it's just a happy page. Like, yes, this volunteer got a spotlight this week, this partner, like it's just beautiful, the wording and the language. But talk about that, like the importance of the honor culture that you guys have. What are some of your thoughts there?
Well, it's definitely on purpose.
Very.
definitely on purpose. And the reason for that is it's so much easier to be negative, right? In our everyday life. Oh, they didn't like me. They didn't give me the right sauce at Chick-fil-A. It's easy to be gripey. It's easy to be negative. And like, we just want any person that we touch or any social media or any of that kind of stuff, we really want to be positive because it's a lot easier for people to go a negative route, but like that's not Jesus, that's not Hope City, that's not Pastor Jeremy, like that's not any of our team. That shouldn't be the way Christians act. So we really just want to be positive no matter what. And for the honor side of it, I think, man, honestly, we really try to find people that are not the ones that are on camera, are not the ones that are seen all the time, are the people that have been, grinding it out behind the scenes, and spotlight them because they could, to honestly, for me, I've seen people that have come up to us after we do the volunteer spotlight and they're like, oh, I didn't even know that you knew my name.
Yeah, exactly. That's
how
the
do
key.
You know who I am?
That's the key.
And how do you know I have a husband? And how do you know where I work? Because we put those details and like, hey, this is Jessica, and Jessica is so awesome. She's a NASA employee and she has 3 kids and she's been married for 25 years. But people don't know that. So literally people come up to us and are like, how do y'all know that?
That's the key. In a church,
it's amazing.
So I told you this the first time we talked. We are not a mega church. I don't care what anybody says. We are not this big church. And it's easy to come in on a Sunday and think nobody's going to know who I am. Nobody's going to know my name. Nobody's going to know the details about me. So we are very intentional about that. And that's the first post we make every week, every Monday for 70 weeks now, however long it's been. Our first post every week is honoring a volunteer to let them know, hey, we see you. More than just for that volunteer, the way they feel, they share it to their network and say, wow, look at what I'm a part of. So now everybody in their network is now saying, this organization that looks like it's so big, notice that who my friend is. Maybe I might want to check in on this. And other people, even yourself, look at it and say, they really do know the people that serve on their team. Now, the truth is, there have been times where I don't know the individual, but that's where it comes down to the connect groups and the coordinators knowing the people at their respective campuses. And lots of times when they are posted, I reach out to them personally and say, hey, thank you so much for what you've done. Thank you for serving. I really appreciate it. You're making a huge difference. And this is a true story. One of the people who we posted, I had no clue who she was. Her name was Paige McPeak. Didn't know her from Adam. I reached out to her, said, hey, thanks for serving. You're amazing. God bless you. Next thing you know, I hired her 2 weeks ago. Just starting putting more things on her plate. I saw the potential. I saw that she's making a difference. I saw she has a heart for community. She has a heart for connect groups. She lives out what it is that we're trying to do. And that came from her being one of the heroes. And so we do take that hero post very seriously. And we really do sit down and say, is our church represented in this? Do we have every race? Do we have every age demographic? Do we have people who are young? Do we have people who are older? So we do look at it and say, hey, does this represent what Hope City is? Because Hope City, Houston is the most diverse city in America.
Yeah.
And you can plainly see that on a Sunday morning at 9 a.m. when you walk into our church. So we do take the honor very seriously.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I just keep like thinking the phrase, it's like, it's personal. Everything y'all do is personal. And that's why it feels so high quality. Like no matter how big and wide and far and deep you guys go, it stays personal. And that's what makes a difference. And that's something that it's not easy to keep it that way. Like you guys have done so well guarding that heart and keeping it that way as you've gone. And so that's amazing. And it's really an inspiration to like all of us out here, like that we can do that, but it's going to take work to make sure we stay focused on people and the one and the individual. And that's the beautiful part. So great job. You guys are incredible. It is so truly inspiring to see just the beautiful work and the beautiful moments y'all are helping foster, helping create. I have a couple more questions. We're coming up on our time, but a couple more questions. I just want to know, like, what is your favorite part about all this? What keeps a smile on your face? What keeps your energy up besides your energy drinks, your bang? How do you just stay full?
I think I feel the responsibility, understanding that I'm somebody who tried my best to not be part of this, who tried my best to not be part of ministry, and God still showed grace to have me be here. And I feel the responsibility of knowing that there's people in the world who are literally, not to be morbid, but getting killed for the same gospel. And I talked to partners who are saying, hey, pray for us. The persecution is really ramping up. They're coming in and burning down villages. And I'm getting baptized. We baptized somebody and their house got burned down, like right after they got baptized. These are real things that happen. So I don't know how we can, in good conscience, with all the tools and all the luxuries that we have, not push this forward as hard as we can possibly push it. Yeah. And I refer to two scriptures often. Jesus, before he went back to heaven, the last thing he said was, go ye therefore. And that wasn't like when you have time, if you feel like it, or just because, like, no, like that is what he told us to do. And so we need to do that. And the other thing I think about is I look at Hebrews 11 often, and you look at the great people of faith, you know, Abraham and Enoch and Noah. And it's cool to read that in a sense of like, oh yeah, that's cool. Noah built the ark. Oh yeah, that's cool. Abraham walked with God by faith. But the fact is, on the flip side, it says, therefore, seeing that we are compassed by a great cloud of witnesses, let us. And so who's to say that we're not the ones to build the next ark?
Yeah.
You know, who's to say that we're not the ones to do something great in the kingdom of God? And we have all the tools and the resources to do it. We just have the faith to do it. And the way that you do that is by acknowledging God, and by really believing in him and really trusting in him and really following him every single day. And when you follow him, that energy comes. When you believe in him and have that faith, you feel like I can do anything. We can do anything. We can have 20 dream centers. So like, we're not like, Pastor Jeremy said that, and he's not joking. Like he is dead serious. I think he's going there. I think he's going there tomorrow. The LA Dream Center.
It's happening. It's on.
And so we really do have great faith, and we really do believe that with God, all things are possible. And it doesn't make sense to have this great big God who created the earth in 7 days and who we say can do anything, and believe for small projects, for small volunteer basis. For no, I believe he can do exceedingly and abundantly more than we can ever ask, think, or imagine. Like I really believe that, and we believe that in our church. Really does believe that we can shake the world through serving others.
Yeah.
Exciting. That's so exciting. What about you, Michelle? What's your fuel?
I honestly, I think for me, because like I said earlier, like, wait, what role was I in? I think I've been we started volunteering at Hope City since the beginning, like when launch started, and then I've worked here for a few years. So there's literally, I've done so many jobs, like, and I'll do anything. I'm the person that's like, hey, oh, you don't have anybody to do it? I got you. I'll clean the floor. I'll do the dishes. I'll do anything. So I think for me, when I first started volunteering at Hope City was in missions. It was in the local side. And then I kind of took a break from it, literally for like 2 years, huh? I didn't really serve a lot. Yeah. And I think just getting back into it and realizing like how much joy it brings me to do something for somebody else that I have no expectation of them doing anything for me in return. It's just like a pure, I just want to do this for you because I love you and God loves you. And to me, it really, it opens an avenue of, oh yeah, I don't go to church, or I'm a different religion than you, or yeah, like church has hurt me or whatever. And to me, it's a way to open up to like the one person and say, yes, and I understand you're hurt, but that was never supposed to happen to you, and I'm sorry for whatever happened to you. And kind of building those relationships, and seeing people's lives actually change. Like for me, it's like, yes, we love to do small projects and we say yes to all these things, but that one small project, just seeing the way that it changes somebody's life. We did a home rebuild this, I guess it was in like November or December, and there's a grandmother and she has several children that she's watching that are her grandkids. And seeing our team go back, yes, we met that physical need. We helped them with the restroom restoration. We did a bunch of yard stuff outside and made it safe for the kids to play. But seeing our team now go back and take those kids to NASA, to Johnson Space Center, they had never been to the zoo. These are teenagers. Some of them are teenagers. They've never been to a zoo. Like, they didn't have a childhood basically because they've had to grow up. And just seeing people take part and actually care about those kids that maybe their teachers don't care about them or other people don't care about them. That's what I love.
One of my favorite memories from that day was, I'm very competitive.
Oh gosh.
Very. I know this is shocking.
Very.
And
did you say very?
I played basketball with those kids, and those kids are like this tall.
They're little. The little ones are like 8, like 7 and 8. And Anthony beat up on them.
I'm out there beating up on them, talking trash.
But they loved it.
They loved it. They enjoyed it. But so, to her point, to see what a small act of kindness and showing the love of Jesus can grow into. Yeah. And there's countless stories like that. And for me, something I forgot about until just now, my first weekend at Hope City, Pastor Jeremy talked about a partner in Haiti. And after I stopped being a smart aleck and said, hey, cool service, it was short, I sent him a message that I actually forgot about, and the Lord reminded me of it when I was in Africa recently. I sent him a message that said, hey, I really do admire your church, what you guys do missionally. I believe that at some point, my wife and I are going to help with missions, and we're going to travel the world helping leading mission trips, because we do like to travel. We've been to 24 countries, and I actually totally forgot about that message until I was on a bus in Africa this past April, and I was like, oh my God, like I said, this my first weekend there, and here we are, and it's amazing, and I love it, and we're going to do it as long as God has us to do it. And then if He asks me to do something else, then I tell our chief of staff all the time, probably once a month, if there's something else for me to do here, I'll gladly do that.
Yeah.
And not do the missions thing. I think for the rest of my life I'll always be involved in outreach, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the mission director of Hope City. A lot of the stuff and a lot of the momentum that was built was before I was the mission director of Hope City. We did something that was, you ever do something and you don't think it's crazy until you look back on it. You're like, man, that was really crazy.
Yeah.
We did a project. Well, I was just a simple volunteer where we went to a hospital and had basically a 20-minute service. A church service. This is like this was in May, I believe, May of 2020.
Yeah.
In the parking lot, probably had 100 people. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Pastor Daniel Groves. He preaches at our church pretty often.
He's our teaching pastor.
You've seen him before. He has a beard, and he came out and
no hair on top.
He preached. He's preached a message. We had worship. We streamed it on our Hope City platform and on our Instagram platform and our missions platform. Like not the missions one, the actual Hope City main pages. We streamed this, and this was brought together by a volunteer. And it shows just that here at Hope City, anybody with an idea and a pulse and a bunch of energy really can make a difference. We don't discriminate seniority, or we don't cast out any bad ideas. We want to help empower people to make a difference in the kingdom.
Yeah.
And so I think for us, that's really what's most exciting, and it's kind of seeing, okay, what can we really do?
Yeah.
If we really believe big, what is possible?
Wow.
And so we're kind of chasing that and seeing what can we really do?
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. It reminds me, I read a scripture this week. I've been in the Passion Translation a lot, and it's just giving me life. I love it. But in Romans 8, there's a phrase that talks about we are led by the impulses of the Holy Spirit. And I just think that is so cool. It's like you guys remind me of that. It's like, it's impulsive, but not in a fleshly way. It's the impulses that are holy of the Holy Spirit. You guys have this energy, and it's based on what He wants to do in His design. And that's why you guys are living the fullest kind of life you could live, and you're empowering others. Your heart, like you're bringing out of people what is going on inside of them with the Holy Spirit. And that is, to me, the most beautiful thing, to be able to unlock that in people. And that's why it's blossoming and blooming, and you guys are like this crazy garden of I don't even know, because that's how you're led. Y'all are led by the impulses of the Holy Spirit, and that's what I hope everyone today takes away from it, is like that's the adventure of what we do. That's how fun it can be. It's not meant to be this crazy heavy. I know it's hard work, and you do have to put a lot into it, but it's meant to be an adventure, and that's what you guys show. So thank you for that. It inspires me. I get hyped up. I'm like, oh yeah, like I love this. It's great. Y'all just inspire everybody you meet, and it's beautiful. So thank y'all so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for like, I know y'all are out there doing so much, but just to be able to stop and have this moment with y'all is a blessing and an honor. One more question. How can people find you guys? There's a lot going on. We want to follow the story and see all the beautiful things.
Is it Hope City Missions? At your Hope City Missions?
It's at your Hope City Missions, yeah.
And then hopecity.com/missions. And then honestly, you can follow Pastor Jeremy. He posts about missions a lot. Follow Hope City. The church posts about missions a lot.
Yeah.
It's amazing that it really is. I don't think there's a week that missions is not talked about from the stage on Sunday. I mean, it's that important to our church. So if you watch us, you will hear about missions and how to get involved. And the beautiful thing is we're in a time and age where you do not have to be in Houston, Texas to be part of the missions team.
Yeah.
We kind of preach that no matter where you are in the world, you can join in on what God is doing right here in Houston, Texas. I mean, we didn't even get into Serve Day, the Philippines and Trinidad and Tobago and India and Minnesota and Uganda
Florida.
and Florida.
Y'all are like 90% of our global representation. I was like, oh, that's Hope City, Hope City, Hope City, Hope City. All continents, they got it. I just need Antarctica. If you can do that, y'all are out. Like
that might be a challenge.
But here's the deal: like we really are just getting started. Like for real. Like I deeply believe there would be a day. I deeply believe there would be a day where like a tsunami or something happens in Asia or something, and there would be people in Hope is Here shirts out there serving. Like I deeply believe that, and so we just have to get after it and follow the Holy Spirit and not have a plan, just follow what He leads us to do.
Yeah,
and whatever that is, get to doing it.
I love it. I love it so much. I cannot wait to adventure with y'all. I can't wait to just watch all the beautiful things He has in store. It's like you said, it's just beginning. So thank you so much. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. We love you guys. We love Pasadena. We love Servolution. You guys are amazing and give us a lot of inspiration.
For sure.
No, back at you. Like I said, time I get a text or a phone call or a little video prayer message, like, man, y'all are awesome. I'm supposed to be your cheerleader, and you guys are that for me. So thank you so much. And listeners, thank y'all for jumping on today and joining us. I will put all the notes of like how to find you guys like in the links and stuff. But yeah, y'all have a great day. And thanks so much, Miners. We love you guys.
We love you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye. Too.